presently constructing a treatment now for mostly glioblastoma, because that's a space where they have zero, nothing works for GBM. As a matter of fact, most of the standard of care that we use to manage glioblastoma accelerates the growth of the tumor.
It kills patients.
The patients are actually suffering from the standard of care.
Yep.
You know, and when you know what radiation and chemo does to the brain, and frees up massive amounts of glucose and glutamine, the two fuels that drive cancer are created massively by the treatments that they're using. And I published a big paper on this. Yet they do it continuously because they don't know what I'm saying. They either don't understand it, they don't want to know about it. But in any event, when a person comes into the clinic, you have to realize that many cancer patients don't have just cancer. Many of them have type 2 diabetes, they have hypertension, they have all kinds of other, what we call chronic, like a host of chronic problems. Oh, and by the way, they have cancer. So we do comprehensive blood work. You need to know how far or how close to normal every blood marker is. And you'll find a lot of people, their HB1AC is off, they have C-reactive protein is off, and their triglycerides are off, and all these different blood markers. They're unhealthy. Already they're unhealthy. So you need to bring, you look at the parasites, all kinds of fungal infections. You can't believe how many different things people have. So you need to get a snapshot of that person's physiology before you do anything to that person. You need to know who they are metabolically first. Then once I outline and define the imbalances, we work to put those imbalances back in balance, bring that person back into a new state. Sometimes that can be usually a few days of zero carb diet. It's unbelievable how fast some of these things work within a few days, with a few days of maybe water only fasting. And then what we do is we bring what we published here at Boston College, the glucose ketone index, which is the ratio of blood glucose to blood ketone bodies in the blood using a meter, Keto Mojo meter or whatever else they have meters. And then we can know how far out of balance the patient is with respect to levels of blood sugar and ketones. And these can be done at home in their own. They keep the log, they can keep the records. Once they're into a low GKI ratio, which we've defined as 2.0 or below, most people, they'll look at the start and say, oh, my GKI is 50. Well, in order to get ready to manage your cancer, you need to get that GKI down into about 2.0 or below. And then you find out, people say, well, it's not easy, it's this and that. But you can do it as long as you can get off the meds. There's a lot of things that prevent you from getting into this zone. So we have to work with each individual. Some people have all kinds of metabolic issues. You can't be too aggressive on pushing them into a correct GKI. But once they're in the right glucose ketone index, and you're right, you can do several different mechanisms. If you're a vegan, you can get into the GKI as a vegan. If you're a carnivore, you can get into it as a carnivore. Once you get into the range, doesn't make a difference what you're eating. People say, can I eat that? I have no idea. Why don't you just look at your GKI and see what you can eat? Your body will tell you what you can and cannot eat. And you have a quantitative measure to tell you what you can and cannot eat. Then once they're into the zone, then we use certain drugs that are like embendazole, fenbendazole, these parasite drugs. They work remarkably well against cancer. A lot of them are in clinical trials. Then the glutamine inhibitors like 6-deoxynorlucine, DON. And they're making some others now, our pharmaceutical companies. The issue is the therapeutic benefit comes from a combination of three things. Number one, the patient has a low glucose ketone index. They're now ready to take in glutamine targeting and other drugs that will further challenge the fermentation. What we're doing is we're going after the pathways that drive the fermentation. Okay, we're essentially taking away the glucose and the glutamine from the tumor. There's no diet that can take away glutamine. You need drugs to take away glutamine. The issue, of course, is that when the patient is already in therapeutic nutritional ketosis, the dosages of the drugs can be dropped really, really low. So there's almost no toxicity. So the therapeutic efficacy goes up magnitudes and the toxicity goes down magnitudes. Unbelievable. So we can then target and kill these tumor cells relatively easily once the patient is in the new state of therapeutic ketosis. So, and this works. It works on the majority of people for the majority of cancers. We're publishing papers on this, but we're doing in short, a few people here, a few people there.
Want to learn what the leading edge science says about the most proven anti-cancer diet? What about experiencing the joy and power of meditation, emotional freedom, energy medicine yoga, and ancient healing methods? Or how about learning from world-leading doctors and health experts what you can do to protect yourself and your family from chronic disease and live a long and healthy life? Imagine if you could learn directly from cancer conquerors how they beat cancer using holistic diet and lifestyle approaches. And imagine understanding why certain supplements work, others don't, and what to look for when choosing effective supplements for health and vitality. And what if every month you could get your most important health questions answered by world-leading integrative and holistic physicians and health experts? Now, it's all possible inside Healing Life. Join the health revolution today at healinglife.net.